Hello everyone, it's Julia, and today I would like to talk about how you can find for the radians when a trig function is equal to a certain value from the unit circle. So first, I would like to start with all of the sine thetas. So here I wrote a few examples for sine theta down, and for the first one, sine theta equals 1/2. 1/2. So I should mention that since we're working with sine theta, we're going to be using the y-axis. So this is positive, and so 1/2, the point 1/2 would be in the middle. So here, well, actually before I solve any of these, I would like to draw the unit circle for you guys, so like in case you haven't memorized the unit circle fully, so you don't get confused or anything. So here is the unit circle. It's not perfect, but here it is. So now, sine theta equals 1/2. This radian here is pi/6, and this radian here is 5/6. So these are the two radians for the theta in this equation. For sine theta equals -1/2, it will be, and here's the point -1/2, so we can make two different lines. So this first radian is 7/6, and the second radian here is 11/6. So these two radians are the theta for sine theta equals -1/2. For this one, square root of 3 divided by 2 is like really close to 1 here. So like this, and this radian here is pi/6. I mean pi/3, and this radian here is 2 pi/3. So these two radians are the theta for sine theta equals square root of 3 divided by 2. Now for sine theta equals 0, this one's kind of hard to explain, but it's just basically asking at what radian will we have like 0 length in the y-axis. So let's say, okay, so let's say theta is equal to pi, okay, which it is, but you don't know that. So if we get just really close to pi, then what would this length be here? Probably kind of close to 0, right? But if this line here was even more close to pi, so like right here, you can barely even see it, then it would be even closer to 0, right? And that's why one of the answers for theta is pi. And another one that would work, it would be 0. Well, actually, this is also 2 pi, so it's the same case. If you get really close to it, you get closer to 0. So 0, 2 pi. There are technically 2 answers for it, but 0 and 2 pi is the same. So now for sine theta equals square root of 2 divided by 2. At the point square root of 2 divided by 2 would be at this point here. You can form 2 lines, and this radian is pi over 4, and this radian here is 3 pi over 4. And so these two are the radians for the theta in this equation. And for when sine theta is equal to negative square root of 2 divided by 2, it would be at like somewhere over here. You can make the 2 lines, and this radian here is 5 pi over 4. That's one of the thetas. And this radian here is 7 pi over 4. So that's another. Now finally for sine theta equals negative square root of 3 divided by 2, we have this point, which is really, so negative square root of 3 divided by 2 is really close to negative 1. And negative square root of 3 divided by 2 is actually like negative 0.866, and this is in decimals, so it's really close to negative 1, and the radius is negative 1 or just 1 in this circle. So, and this radian is 4 pi over 3, and this radian here is 5 pi over 3. So these two are the radians for the theta in this equation. And now I'm going to move on to the cosine theta. So I'll erase all these and provide some examples for the cosine theta. So here are the examples that I've provided for you guys. So now on this first one, the point negative square root of 3 over 2 will be like, okay, so before I get into anything, I have to mention that since we're working with cosine theta now, we're going to be using the x-axis. So it's negative, so it would be here, really close to negative 1, since this is negative 0.866. And this radian here is 5 pi over 6. And this radian here is 7 pi over 6. So these two are the radians for this theta in this equation. And for the second one, cosine theta equals negative square root of 2 over 2. We have like this one here, and this radian here is 3 pi over 4. And this one is 5 pi over 4. So these two are the radians for the theta in this equation. And for cosine theta equals square root of 3 divided by 2, we would have the point really close to 1. So this radian here is pi over 6, and this radian is 11 pi over 6. So these two radians are the theta for cosine theta equals square root of 3 divided by 2. Now for cosine theta equals negative 1, there's only like one answer for this equation, pretty sure. So the radius in this circle is just 1, right? And so this length here would be negative 1, since we're on the negative side of the x-axis, and negative 1 is what we're trying to get. So what is this radian? Well, this radian is pi. So pi is the only radian for the theta in this equation. Now this one on the top. Okay, so on the problems before that I solved that included square root of 2 divided by 2, I forgot to mention that this is 0.707, and so that's why it's kind of close to the middle and kind of close to 1. So like it's between. So it would be at like here, I guess. I mean, not here. It would be like somewhere here. And so this radian is pi over 4, and this radian here is 7 pi over 4. So these two are the radians for this theta in this equation. And for cosine theta equals 1/2, we have 1/2, so 1/2 of 1, since the radius is 1. And this theta here is pi over 3, and this theta here is 5 pi over 3. So these two radians are the theta for this equation. And for cosine theta equals negative 1/2, we have negative 1/2. So like here, this radian is 2 pi over 3, and this radian here is 4 pi over 3. So these two radians are the theta for this equation. So these were the examples for cosine theta. So now I'll show you guys some examples for the tangent theta. Tangent theta equals negative. Okay, so here are 6 examples for the tangent theta. So for the first one here, we have negative 1 over square root of 3, which would be like over here. So these two radians would be the theta, and this, so this length is negative 1 over square root of 3. So the first radian is 5 pi over 6, and the second radian here is 11 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6. So these two are the radians for the theta in this equation. For the second one, tangent theta equals negative 1. So for this one, the length here would be negative 1, and it's pretty obvious since the radius is 1, and these are pretty kind of symmetrical. So like here, and this radius here, the radian here is 3 pi over 4, and this radian here is 7 pi over 4. And so these two radians are the theta for this equation. For when tangent theta is equal to 1, positive 1, it would be at like here. So, and again, it's pretty obvious since the radius is 1 and these are symmetrical. So this length here is 1, positive 1, and this radian is pi over 4, and this radian here is 5 pi over 4. 5 pi over 4, and these two radians are the theta for this equation. For tangent theta equals square root of 3, we would so square root of 3 in decimals is 1.732, and so the radius is 1, and so this is kind of close to 2, right? And so this is 1, here's 2, and so it's a little bit less. So like here's the point 1.732 here. So this whole length is 1.732, right? So we would have to connect it to from the center of the circle. So like this. Wait, I didn't really try it properly. actually supposed to be kind of like this. Yeah, and so this radian here is pi over 3, and this radian here is 4 pi over 3. So these two radians are the theta for this equation here. So tangent theta equals 1 over square root of 3. Well, here's the vertical line, and it would be like somewhere over here. Kind of close to 1. So here's 1 over square root of 3. So this radian here is pi over 6. And the second radian here is 7 pi over 6. That's the second radian for this theta. And finally, for when tangent theta is equal to negative square root of 3, again, this is in decimals, negative 1.73 dot dot dot. So it's like this. Okay, we're at the end, so I can't do it all the way, but it's 1 here, and so more than half of 1, more than 1, so this is right. So the first radian is 2 pi over 3. That's the first radian, and for the second radian, we have 5 pi over 3. It's the second radian, and these two are the radians for the theta for when tangent theta is equal to negative square root of 3. So in this video, I taught you guys how you can find for the theta when a trig function is equal to a certain value in a unit circle. So I hope you guys learned something from this. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.